Hey guys, this video is about classroom management techniques in the physical education setting, being able to prevent problems before they occur. A little bit about me. I'm Megan McCraney. Just finished up my 12th year teaching, and I teach at a 3rd through 5th grade elementary school in Middle Georgia. You know how the old saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we need to think about ahead of time the procedures that we have for the gym, how the students come in and how they exit. Um, how will I let the teachers know those expectations? So I think about that before the first day of school, and I communicate with the teachers what those procedures will be. Sometimes I roll out a video, and that just kind of explains what's going on to the students before they leave their homeroom, how they'll come to the gym, and what the expectations are before they can even get to the gym. For water and use of the restrooms in our gym, they have to leave the gym to get water, so we have to have the students ask for permission to be able to leave. If the water fountain was in the gym, that would be a whole different story, but with them having to leave our site, our students have to get permission. So my start and stop signals are the whistle. If I blow the whistle, they know to stop, drop, and listen, stop what they're doing, sit down, put any equipment they have on the ground, and they're not talking. For spatial awareness, teaching the kids where they are and to be aware of where they are amongst 60 other people in a gym with usually moving objects. We play several games, usually in a unit form. The first week of school, we're just playing games about stop and start, knowing where they are, where they're going, and where they will line up at. For rules, do you ask your students, do they have any input? For us, I do ask, what do you think you need? What needs to be a rule in here to keep you safe? And then we talk about so that you can have the most fun possible. What do you need? What is a rule to make sure that happens? So they get that buy-in, and when the students have buy-in, they're apt to follow the rules that they help set. The next thing to consider is where you'll instruct the students. So I use indoor spots for a more formal setting where the students need to sit and not be able to touch anyone else. We call those their indoor spots. Informal seating, I just have them, I tell students to find a line. Occasionally they'll sit like in a semicircle around me, usually not behind me, just in front of me. For designated spots, some people I've seen have gyms have a dot on the floor. I use postings on the wall. On the left and right walls would be numbers 1 through 8, and then on the front wall there's letters A, B, C, D on one side of the gym, and on the other side A, B, C, D. And so I have each of the classes divided up, one class on the left side of the gym, one class on the right side of the gym, and I'm very strategic in where they sit when it is that formal time. But like I said, informal time, I'll just say back on a wall, or everybody find a black line to stand on, or sometimes just wherever they are, just blow the whistle, stop, drop, and listen from where they are, just sit seated, or sometimes I'll say take a knee around me. Another piece to consider is how you communicate rules and expectations. We have PBIS very ingrained in everything we do at Bonaire Elementary School. So part of PBIS and their function is to use consistent language, and we refer to the PBIS matrix, which is listed right here in the slide. It's also a gigantic poster in the gym on the wall, and I'm talking about like probably 10 foot long. It is a big poster, so we look at this and we talk about it in each lesson. The 3 main rules of the gym are to respect yourselves, others, and the environment. We wear appropriate shoes. We listen respectfully, touch Equipment, when you're given permission, we win with a good attitude, lose with a good attitude, and with all of our specials, so music, art, and PE, we are earning class dojo points as an entire homeroom. So that's the only place where they do that is just in specials. They try to get to 30 points in a week. They can earn up to 6 points a day. So when they come in, if they come in quietly, they earn a point. If they listen during the mini lesson, they get a point. They get up to 3 points for their participation, and then they get a point for cleaning up, lining up to 6 points a day, and up to 30 in a week. Obviously, if they do great, they can earn more than 6 points in a day, which is more than 30 in a week. But the goal is to get that 30. And so then they have just different incentives there. They get to 75 points. They earn a free day outside in music, art, or PE. And if they get 150 points, they get another free day outside. If they're the class that has the most points at the end of the 9 weeks, they get another day outside during music, art, or PE with popsicles. So it seems like we are always going outside to celebrate somebody doing something. We keep up with that in a shared Google Doc, my parapro, the music teacher, and the art teacher. For consequences, consistency is key. We have started cutting out construction paper, red, yellow, and orange construction paper, sometimes laminated, sometimes not. But the first warning is just a yellow card. It's a physical card they hold in their hand. They know that they have a warning. The second offense, they sit down. That's an orange card. Usually we don't actually hand off that card. They understand when they get the yellow card, the next offense is the orange. They'll sit out. They have a paper to fill out if they get a third offense, which is they sit down, they fill out a paper, and they're just basically saying what they did, what rule they broke, how they're going to change to do something differently in the future. But that also takes away from their personal dojo. That does not affect those class dojo points that we were just talking about. Sometimes a behavior will warrant immediate attention from the office, and we tell students that ahead of time. So if you come in and then you fight, that we don't just sit down and talk about it after that. That means that we can skip some of those steps. It's important to remember that negative behaviors will still happen. I choose to praise good behavior. If I'm having 60 kids in the gym and I want the students to sit down at their indoor spot quietly, then I'm going to find at least one student who's doing that and just tell everybody, hey, look at this child. Easton's doing the right thing. I like how Easton's sitting at his indoor spot facing his letter, not talking. Whatever I need to see from everybody else, I just find someone doing that and congratulate them or bring attention to them. I allow students to demonstrate, and sometimes I show if a student is just off topic, maybe that is what they need. They need that demonstration time to get back on track. Sometimes I'm cautious to never show let particular students do that, because that gives them the audience they need to do the wrong thing. So you got to be cautious about who demonstrates. I remind the entire class of the expectation when I'm giving out the instructions for a new game. A mindful minute is something I use when I see aggressive behaviors in a game that shouldn't be aggressive, or if I just see that kind of the energy in the class has shifted and we just need to recenter, we really will stop. I'll have everybody quiet, and I'm going to think about, I'll tell the kids, all right, everybody close your eyes and envision something. And so I may say, if we're playing basketball, close your eyes. Imagine you are at the free throw line. Everybody's around you. They're looking at you. I want you to, and then they'll do the cues of shooting a shot, just to get in their head and use that minute to visualize something different, get their mind off of whatever we're doing, and really just kind of get that shift change. I also use proximity control. So if I'm speaking to the entire crowd and I see just a couple of boys are talking, I'm going to go stand by those boys. That will help. Or maybe it's a couple of girls. The penalty box is used if we see something, a kid did something wrong in a game, they can sit themselves out, but it's usually somewhere they go for a minute. For the younger kids, I have a chart where they could read the alphabet. Now I have a multiplication chart. They have to read all the 8 multiplication facts before they go back in again, or they can count to 30 jumping jacks. They usually give them an option with that. The conflict corner is put out by Ben Landers with the PE specialist, and he just talks about having the students have a location to problem solve for their own issues. They can work through, they're not adult issues, but they're kid issues, so that's the conflict corner. And then communicate positive interactions as well with parents, because when that negative time comes and you have to communicate with them, it makes them accepting that their child may have done something bad easier from you when they've heard, oh, this child has done this good earlier, this is September, they did something good again, and then November there's an issue. It's going to be easier to accept from parents when they've had that prior positive contact. The final piece is to evaluate your own systems. So try to figure out behavior problems in your specific area, at what times, with what games. What can you do to remove that obstacle? So for me, it could be that I'm seeing a lot of kids have to go to the nurse when we play noodle tag. Well, maybe when the students get tagged, they can't sit down on the floor anymore. Maybe they all have to sit with their back on the wall to prevent kids running into each other or something like that. So think about how you can put a rule in place to prevent an issue that could be, you know, like I just said, students running into each other, but maybe it's behavior issues from happening. If we're arguing about who's winning a game, do we have to keep score, or can we keep score in a different way? Could it be, how many passes can you make before you take a shot? I don't care who has the most points at the end of the game. What we're counting this time is how many times can you complete a pass. So we're still keeping score, just not in a way that's going to make them nearly as aggressive. And then, do we need to spend more time demonstrating your expectations? Do we need to establish better protocols or give them the why? I've always said, as an adult, I always follow the rules that I think are important. If I don't believe that the rule is important, it's going to be difficult for me to want to follow it. Kids are the same way. Give them the why, and in doing so, you're going to have more students following that. That's going to take away from a little bit of game time, but it's also going to prevent injuries, and it's going to prevent some behavior issues from occurring as well. And finally, consider the needs of all students, not just your athletes. The students who dislike coming to PE maybe aren't good at coming to PE. Maybe it's a sensory issue. Maybe it's something altogether. Maybe they're just not athletic kids. Just think about, from every child's perspective, what could we do to have them best succeed in our area? And finally, again, this is Megan McCraney, and this is my email address. If you have any questions, you can reach me here. Thank you.